Ask this question all the time about buying versus renting an aircraft. Well, why do you own one when you could just go down and rent one? Well, there's a big difference, right? Hi, my name is Douglas Francisco, Spartan Risk Management. We're talking a little bit about aircraft ownership today, and I actually own a Piper Arrow. It's a PA-28R201. For those that want to get specific, it's a 2002 model. Owned this aircraft now for about 2 years. It's been great for me. We use it a lot in business, and even more in business than I ever thought. It's been a great tool. But I get asked all the time, even just this weekend, I was flying down to South Florida, what are the pros and cons of owning versus renting, right? And a lot of times, if you're just starting to fly, there definitely can be pros and cons. Everyone says, well, owning an aircraft is the best. Well, it might not be depending on your scenario. And I promise you there are hidden costs that you're going to uncover that you might not have known about until you actually own, right? So what I always do is I always equate owning an aircraft to a business, right? Most of the time you're going to own it in an LLC for multiple reasons. We could even talk a little bit about that on the risk management side. But if you're going to buy, be prepared to put 25% down. Right, and then they're going to look at your financials, right? So if you're a business owner, or if you're employed, they're going to want to look at your income from the last couple of years to make sure that you can correctly repay that loan. So and that's just one part of it. Surprisingly, the loan payment many times is the smallest part of owning an aircraft. If you're a lower time pilot, depending on the aircraft, insurance for you is going to be a big hit the first year. This is a complex aircraft with retractable gear. Insurance companies don't like that. Why? Because they're gear up landing. This aircraft specifically, the Piper Arrow, cost more the first year to insure it. It started back and back down, but I knew that going into it. We prepared for that. But I also have the complex time. I have the retract time, which is positive for me also. So your first annual, be prepared. It's going to cost some money, right? Your first annual on a piston aircraft, it's going to probably be in excess of $10,000. You might be catching some things up, unless you happen to know the owner or the repair facility that you purchased it from. It's going to cost some money. You got catch up, right? Even down to the detailing. The first year I had a ceramic coat put on the aircraft by an aircraft detailer. it's not going to be $100, $200 like it is to detail your car. You're going to be in the thousands of dollars. But the goal here is to protect your asset, right? Aircrafts, one, we use them as tools, we fly them, but they're also assets. We want to make sure that we properly maintain them. So when it does come time for sale, right, we can recoup some of our dollars. A hangar is a perfect example. Now we have a hangar. That was a very long wait list, but it's of utmost importance to have a hangar because we're going to protect, both the exterior of the aircraft, the interior, and actually for insurance, that could cause a big, that could provide a big insurance savings also. There's a lot of costs to owning an aircraft, but there's some positives too, right? I can be from my door, file a flight plan and be out of the hangar and be on the runway in under half an hour, right? That's huge advantage, right? Huge advantage for business, for us. That's one of the biggest things that I see. Every year of my life now, I value time even more and more. So, and being able to access our friends and family and loved ones, that's a huge value add, right? So we've got that component to it, right? But if you're going through your ratings, you've got to make sure that the aircraft is ready every single day that you go fly. If you're working through your ratings and you're trying to get your ratings as fast as possible, owning actually might not be your best option because you don't have another plane you can immediately jump into. Whereas if you're renting an aircraft, you do have a fixed hourly rate, right? For $180 an hour, you can get in that aircraft, and depending on the fleet where you're at, you can always have an aircraft to use. So that can be invaluable to you if you're trying to push through your ratings as fast as possible, and know that you have a controlled cost to where you can achieve your goal within that amount of time and that cost, right? So that's huge. And the one thing I always want to stress, if you own an aircraft, or even if you're renting an aircraft, this can be very important as well, is making sure that you have proper insurance, right? So either you have proper insurance for the aircraft that you own. We talk about there's certain type of replacement cost values, there's certain type of agreed values, there's radius of operation. If you're renting an aircraft, it can be very important too. We talked a little bit about this before, but making sure that you have proper renter's insurance coverage. And it might not just be a $10,000 or $25,000 or $50,000 requirement into the renter's agreement. You really might want to consider more, and there's some reasons why. If you're interested in it, go take a Learn to Fly course at your local airport. Check it out. You might fall in love with aviation, right? I feel very grateful that we can own an aircraft and use it for business and personal use. Any questions, feel free to reach out to us at SpartanRiskManagement.com. We'd be happy to help you out if you have any insurance needs for your own or potentially rented aircraft.